Clarkston. I'm Rod Rock. Welcome back to Real Learning, where we showcase the excellent learning and teaching that take place each day in the Clarkston Community Schools. Today we have with us Mr. Chris Turner, who is retiring after 22 years in the Clarkston schools. Chris opened Independence Elementary School 17 years ago and has been the only principal. We're so fortunate to have Chris in our community. Welcome to the show, Chris.
Thank you, Rod. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks.
Can you tell us a little bit about your educational background, Chris?
Sure. I've been in education now 35 years. I got my bachelor's degree from Central Michigan University, and then after that I went on to Oakland University and got my master's degree and also my ed specialist degree there in leadership. I was a teacher for 10 years and loved that, and then became an elementary principal. I think I might have been one of the youngest elementary principals in Oakland County at the time. I was 32 years old. I became an elementary principal in Ferndale, and I did that for 3 years. Then I was fortunate to be able to come to Clarkston. My wife and I lived in Clarkston, and I was able to come to Clarkston. I was a principal at Bailey Lake for 5 years, and as you know, for the last 17 years, I've been at Independence Elementary.
Wonderful, thank you. And I always feel such a strong culture at Independence, and I always feel your presence there, and your personality really resonates in the school, and it's so neat that you've been there the whole time since it opened. And I know you had a hand probably in designing and being part of that, which is a really unique experience. So can you tell us a little bit about your philosophy of learning and how you arrived at that philosophy?
Sure. Yes, you're right, Dr. Rock. I did have a hand in Independence Elementary, literally from the ground up. I attended the groundbreaking. So it's certainly been a part of my blood, a little bit of sweat and a little bit of tears as well for the last 17 years. My philosophy, I think, of learning really starts with engagement. We found over the years that if we don't get our students engaged, that they're going to have a lot of difficulty learning. So we need to get them engaged, and this doesn't just go for students, it goes for students and adults. So once we have them engaged, every child can learn and every adult can learn, and I do believe that. It's our job to figure out how they can learn best. They all have special talents and skills, so we want to engage them, and our teachers work very hard to figure out what are those skills and talents that an individual student has. And I do the same as an administrator. I get to know my staff members, let them know that I care about them, I trust them, and find out what their talents and skills are and try to work within that, engage them in things where they can be successful. So I think that's kind of what my philosophy is about: engagement and developing relationships with our students and our staff members, letting them know we care about them and respect them, and put them in an environment where they can be successful.
So are there any specific ways that you see that philosophy playing itself out at Independence?
Absolutely. It really didn't take me very long to realize when I first started in education that I taught it, they didn't get it. Philosophy doesn't work. So our teachers work very hard to get students involved in the activities or the lessons that they're presenting. And they do that by having students express their thinking aloud, making it visible, getting into discussions with others, the different methods of instructions that they use to meet students' needs, to keep them engaged, plays out every day in our schools throughout Clarkston, not just at Independence Elementary. Without engagement and without that sense of meeting the students' needs where they are, determining what they are, and taking them from there, we're going to have difficulty helping those students grow. We often say it doesn't matter where a child is from the moment they walk through our doors, but once they're there, our job is to determine what are they ready to learn and how can we provide that for them. So we determine that, and then we provide instruction based on their needs that keeps them engaged in an environment of caring, trust, respect, and safety.
Well, thank you. I know, like I said, I feel that when I go there, and the kids seem very confident, and the staff is very dedicated along with you, and all staff members, including your custodian. Everybody really pitches in, and parents. I know it's a very supportive parental community as well.
Absolutely. We're very fortunate to have a community that works really well together. We know our parent involvement is tremendous, and it can make or break some of our activities, and we're very fortunate for that. And like you said, our support staff, all of the teaching staff, we all come together for the best interest of the kids.
So, Chris, what is your passion, and how did you find it?
Well, I've discovered, I guess, that my passion is educating children. I didn't have that or didn't know that right away. When I went off to college, I started out in a variety of different things, wasn't sure what my major was going to be. I kind of floundered around a little bit, frankly, trying different things. And then I ended up taking some time off of college, out of college, because I just wasn't feeling like I had a sense of direction. During the time that I was off, I realized that I couldn't fight it anymore. I was meant to be an educator. My mother was an educator. And I think, you know, as kids, we kind of grew up saying, I'm not going to do what my parent did, because I'm going to blaze my own path. Well, I decided and realized I couldn't fight it anymore. I was meant to be an educator, and there wasn't anything I could do about it. And I can honestly say there hasn't been a day during my entire career that I felt like I made the wrong decision. Now, don't get me wrong, there's been difficult days, but I know that I chose the profession that was right for me, and I feel very fortunate and blessed that I did.
Well, I think it appears to be very much the case, as it seems like you're a natural, and whenever I see you, I think it's rare to have somebody be in a building for 17 years, or maybe to be an elementary principal for 17 years, and to have you do that, and I believe you have the same passion as you did the first day, especially when it comes to the relationships you have with kids. As I know, when we see you at graduation, you in different places in the community, you're still connected with them, and they know that you care. So
it's so true, Dr. Rock. I have known many of these families for a long time. Some of the students, when I'm sitting at the high school graduation at DTE, I watch them walk across the stage, and I can remember them when they were in strollers, coming into the school when they're newborns. And I've known their siblings, and of course their parents. I'm fortunate that I live in Clarkston, and my 3 children all went to Clarkston High School and went through Clarkston schools. So I've seen many of these young people grow up, not just in school, but on the playing fields or on the stages or out in the community. And I absolutely feel a connection to them that goes beyond just the time they're in elementary school.
So I know you've had a lot of meaningful moments here in Clarkston and throughout your career. What do you remember as maybe the most meaningful moment or event?
Wow. There's been many moments that I'll always remember and treasure, many. I think most of them revolve around the people that I've worked with, you know, staff members, students. I think those relationships are what I'll always treasure. And whether it's watching the kids perform at a music concert, or again seeing them cross the stage at graduation, or just seeing them take on a challenge that they didn't think they could do and then being successful, whether again an adult or a student, those are extremely meaningful to me. However, if you want to pin me down and have me pick a moment, I will, and that would be November 8th, 1999. That was the day that Independence Elementary first opened its doors at the new building. We had started the year at Sashball Middle School. It was under construction as a middle school, so we used it as a temporary elementary school for a couple of months. But on November 8th, it opened its doors, and I'll never forget the day. It was certainly exciting, exhilarating time. It had been a very incredibly intense process to get to that point. But being a part of the school from the very beginning, helping to design it, as you said, hiring every single staff member at that building, establishing the culture and traditions that are in place today, it's truly been a labor of love for me for 17 years.
Well, that's amazing. I think a lot about the routines that go on in schools or even in our lives, and the way kids walk down the hallway, and the way we set up the lunchroom, and just everything that happens in a school is designed at some point and to think that you've been part of that, and I'm sure you've made changes along the way and
Sure.
learned as you've gone. It's really a remarkable story. So one of the things I know that you're probably most proud of is the service orientation of Independence and the Sox Day and the way that the community comes together and the kids contribute. I know that's gone on for a long time. So of those kinds of contributions, what kind of things will you remember most?
Well, you're right, Dr. Rock. Academic service learning is a huge piece of what we do at Independence. We've kind of adopted that, I would say, as our mission. We believe that if we teach children at a young age to serve others, that it's not just about themselves, that it's about others, and the feeling that you get, the gratification that you get inside, you realize that yes, you're doing something for others, but you're also doing for yourself. That's something that we try to instill at an early age. And so we're very involved in academic service learning. And Sox Day, which we've been doing for 13 years, is extremely important to us. Sox stands for Serving Our Community Kids Style. And that's a day where every one of our children in our school are involved in academic service learning projects, service projects that are tied to curriculum. Our teachers are very involved, and it's extremely important to us. All the grade levels are involved in different activities, but probably one that I'll remember more than others is our fifth graders every year during Sox Day. We bring in senior citizens from the community, and they are their hosts for the senior citizens, and they sing songs. They start out by singing songs, then they interview them, find out about their life when they were in school. They serve them breakfast, they take pictures, they play games together. And I think that the impact of that day, and maybe because it's the culmination of years that these children were involved in Sox Day, but I see the emotion in the children that day where it's like they start to really understand what it means to do for others and to make a difference for others. So that's an important time. But certainly academic service learning is one of our features, something we stress quite a bit.
And I know that that's a big part of the Clarkston schools and the Clarkston community, and I'm sure that you've had a part in shaping that. So I know you'll go on to do other great things, and your legacy here will continue with all that you've contributed, so we're very fortunate. Is there one story you can think of, a connection you've made with a student that's been extra memorable, or?
Well, there are so many. As I said, I'm fortunate to live in Clarkston and have seen children grow, not just my students, but students throughout the community. I don't know that I can pick out just one, but I can say that the connections that I've made with young people, especially those maybe that are going through difficult times or overcoming hardships, have been maybe more meaningful. They'll stick with me longer because I hope I've been able to play a part in helping them, but I know our professional educators are the ones that they're the ones in the trenches, and they make incredible connections and develop these relationships with these children that are beyond what we can ever imagine. But when I see them work through their difficulties or their hardships, take on challenges that they didn't think they could take on or be successful at, and then overcome those and are successful, those are the ones that I'll remember. So I don't know that I have an individual one, I have a number. Every year there's a few students that I develop maybe a special connection or I bond with maybe more than others because of what they've been going through. And so I'll always remember them as well as all the others, I guess. And
I remember a couple years ago I was at the Renaissance graduation and I saw you there, and I wasn't sure why you were there, and then afterward I know you had a connection with the student there. And
I did. There was a young man who had had a very difficult time in elementary school and had overcome, and during elementary school, frankly, was just struggling to make it through. And over the years, I stayed in touch with him, and he'd come visit me, and he ended up, and he's currently in the military right now, and he's extremely successful, and he's one of those kids that I'll never forget. I've kind of maintained that relationship with him all the way through.
That's really something. When we talk about that red thread, that's really what it is. I know he knows how much you meant to him, and the opposite is true as well.
Sure.
So if there's one thing you could change about education, what would it be and why?
Well, this one's actually, that's pretty easy for me. I would love to see the power of decision-making be put back in the hands of educators, of the professionals that have been trained to educate young people. Too often, the people in charge of making decisions that have direct impact on children are not educators. So I would like to see our lawmakers and our community members trust teachers and administrators and the decisions that we make with trust and respect and support from our community, from our state government. The professional educators that are in charge can do some amazing things with students, and they'll learn and they'll grow wonderfully. It's concerning to me that much of the power or the decision-making ability has been taken away from the hands of the people that really have been trained and really know what they're doing. So that's a concern. I think that'd be the one thing, if I could wave that magic wand, that I would change.
Right. Thank you. So is there anything else you'd like to share?
Oh, sure. My time in Clarkston has been incredible. I've been very fortunate to have the opportunity to work with the children in Clarkston, to work with some incredible staff members who inspire me every single day. There's been my colleagues, my administrative colleagues I've had a chance to work with. Dr. Rock, I would say that you have made my last few years in Clarkston very memorable. I appreciate your leadership, your unwavering advocacy for children and for teachers. Thank you for that. I've been blessed. I'm not saying I haven't had rough days, but there hasn't been a day, like I said earlier, that I haven't felt like I wasn't doing the right thing and that I had an opportunity to impact the lives of young people and adults. So I want to thank the entire community of Clarkston for the support that they give to the students, to our schools, to others in the community. It's really an incredible area. I'm, again, fortunate to live here as well. When I came to Clarkston from a different district, I was incredibly impressed with the level of professionalism on the teaching staff and the administrators. The decisions, the conversation, as you know, is always focused on kids and how we can best meet their needs and how we can best provide them with what they need to have to be successful. And that's what I wanted to be a part of. That's important to me, that it's too important a job to take it lightly. And sometimes that intensity can be difficult because we want everything to be just right. But I'll tell you what, I'd rather strive for the stars and not quite reach them than to settle for something less. So I appreciate the opportunity I've had to work in Clarkston for 22 years now. It's been the best 22 years of my career, and the support that I've had from the leadership, my colleagues, my principal colleagues, has been unbelievable. And frankly, the professional staff that I work with every single day inspire me. The passion that they have, the commitment they have to meeting the needs of students is something I'll always remember.
Well, thank you for all you've done for Clarkston, Chris. We'll always be grateful for you. So I appreciate people taking the time to tune in for us to hear from Chris and his experiences. And I think being genuine is one characteristic of a leader that we don't always think about. Do the things that you believe, the way that you talk, the way that you walk, the way that you educate and carry yourself as a person, do those match up with the things that you say you value? And Chris is a person of tremendous character. He's a person who works very hard and really cares about people and listens. And he's made a tremendous positive difference in our community and beyond. We're very, very fortunate to have had him in Clarkston. We wish him the very best going forward. Thank you for tuning in.